everyone. Today I'm going to show how to make paper roses. What you'll need for this project is some different types of scrap paper. These are both from the Simple Stories. This is Enchanted, True Love's Kiss, and this is Enchanted Rose. You don't have to use the style paper. You can use any type. It doesn't matter if it's single or double-sided. It's just your preference. You'll also need some scissors, some hot glue sticks, hot glue gun, and a pen. For today's tutorial, I'm also using some different type of embellishments. Here I have just some vintage buttons, little jewels, just kind of assortment depending on what style I'm going for. Sometimes I do not use embellishments. It just depends on what look I'm trying to achieve. So the first thing you're going to want to do is draw a circle. I'll start with the Enchanted Rose first. You want your circle to not be a perfect circle. You want it to be kind of wavy with a little bit of imperfection. It does not need to be perfect. Normally I do not draw my circle. Normally I just cut it out as I'm going, but for this video's purpose of showing how I make these, I thought it might be better if I show how I draw my circle. So now you'll just want to cut it out. If you drew it on, make sure you stay on the inside of your drawing because you do not want any of your marks to show. Your flower will not be pretty if you show your pin marks. And I have done that before, and it just leaves it looking unfinished and not professional at all. And this is the size we're going to do first, which will create probably about a medium-sized flower. If you want to do a very, very large-sized flower, you're going to want to use the whole scrapbook page. Okay, the next thing we're going to do, whoops, I've got a little pin mark right there. The next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to make a swirled center. And what I mean by that is find a place where you want to begin your rose. So I'm going to start right here because it's a little kind of sharp area. And I'm going to draw a spiral, and I'm going to continue on with that wave pattern. It gives your rose just a really more realistic pattern. You never see a straight rose. You don't see straight petals and completely lined up rose. You see variation and depth to the flower. Okay, so now we have our swirl done, and when you do the center of the swirl, you're going to want to make a little loop there. And when you are finished with this rose, when you are to the last step of this rose, I should say, this will be where your only bit of glue will go. So it's just kind of a little ledge where we're going to set all of our rolled paper on top of. And you'll see what I mean in a moment. Okay, so now we're going to cut along that line. Just making sure that you cut along right where the pin mark is. And we'll come back and we'll cut out if there's any pin mark showing again. Actually had this video requested by Nikki at This Robin's Nest. She has my favorite channel on YouTube. If you haven't seen her channel before, I recommend you go check it out. It's what inspired me to start a channel, and she is a sweet soul and she has a beautiful daughter, and I love tuning into her channel. She's very creative and talented. And again, this is something I don't normally do with the pen. This is just something I normally go through and cut out as I'm going. So I'm going to go back and take off the pen marks. And I really recommend after your first few flowers that you make that you go ahead and do the same. Once you're used to it, just go ahead and do this without the pen or pencil. Or if you use a pencil, it'll be much easier just to erase where your pen marks or pencil marks are. But for purposes of this video, you wouldn't have seen the pencil marks very well on camera. So you get the point, so I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay. This is the most important part. When you roll your flower, you want to keep it taut during the whole process. So I'm going to take where my rose starts, which is right here at the very end. Let's pretend this is a snake, which it looks very much like a snake. You want to start at the tail, and you want to roll as tight as you can. So when you are finished rolling this, the side that's going to show the most from above is this side. So if you're wanting this side to show, you're going to want to roll it this way. If you're going to want to roll it this way. If you're wanting this side to show, you're going to want to roll it this way. And I want this side to show. So I'm going to roll this. Especially in the center is the most important part. You want that very tight, although if you are planning on doing an embellishment, you want to leave a little space for whatever embellishment you're using. So I'm just rolling this very tightly, and I'm going to just keep rolling it all the way to the snake's head, I guess you could say. This is very easy to do with sheet music, with thinner paper. The only thing I can recommend not using is very heavy cardstock. This is the paper that I'm using now, this double-sided paper, is probably the thickest I would go. Just because you don't have much give when you get to that heavier paper. So it's hard to get it to roll the way you want as much, and it doesn't give that delicate look as much. And you can see that I'm just trying to keep this as tight as I can. And right now, looking at this, you can already see the top of your flower. And we're just winding, winding, winding. Okay, when you're to the snake's head, because that does, it looks like a little snake's head, you're going to want to take all that you just rolled, and you're going to want to see if you've got space there to put it, and you do. So the only place we're going to put our glue is right here. I'm going to take a little of my hot glue, and be careful because making roses is a very good way to burn yourself, because you have this little tiny area, and then you have hot, mine is steaming hot glue. So now you want to put your paper that you lined up on that spot, and you just want to slowly let go. Let go and let that unwind as you go. And I kind of just like to let it spin until it's just where I want it. And I am liking just a little bit fuller. And I don't want to put an embellishment in this one. So I'm going to push right here where it should still get some of that glue. Mine takes a few minutes for that hot glue to really dry up, so it gives me time to work with it. And as you can see, it's a beautiful rose, but there's something I don't like about it, and it's this sharp piece right here. I'm going to take that, take my scissors, and I'm going to cut right like that. And as you can see, you have a beautiful rose. And I really like the pale pink. I like the tightly wound center. It's just really beautiful. I love taking these flowers and making a whole bunch and filling up a milk glass bowl or some type of delicate a bowl and just filling it up and just setting it out. And it's beautiful to me all year long, and it gives you just beautiful pops of color depending on what colors you use. Okay, I'm going to do this next one very quickly just to give you another run through. I'm not going to draw my paper, I'm not going to draw my circle or anything. I'm just going to go very quickly, and I'm going to make a little bit bigger one. These roses are just gorgeous to make for wedding bouquets using hem paper. That's what I made for mine, and I cherish it so much, and I have it sitting on my dresser, and it just brings back wonderful memories of that special day, and it's just a keepsake that I can keep forever. Just love the type of flowers that you do not have to care for or water or tend to. It's just the perfect type of flowers to me. Now don't forget when you cut these to keep it just a little wavy. Not extreme or anything, just you can turn your paper back and forth just to give it a little bit of wave as you're cutting. And getting to that snake's head, since this is a larger one, I'm going to make my base larger. Okay. And when you make a bigger one, you're more likely to do what I just did and kind of get it tangled up within each other, but that's okay. Okay, I'm going to quickly wind it up as quickly as I can. Okay, we're getting to the end of our rose, the end of our snake. We're almost to the snake's head. Okay, and there's our ledge. There's our platform, I mean. So let's take that hot glue, and the bigger ones pretty much roll out quite a bit on their own. It's hard to keep them wrapped as tightly, so let's take that and set our tightly wound roll upon that. As we let it go a little, I'm really gonna like this one. It's a little bit bigger than the last one. I like when I put these in a bowl, I like to have variation of size of flowers. If you look at a bouquet of flowers, a lot of times they'll be bigger and fuller flowers and smaller flowers, just depending on what type of arrangement it is. I like the variation myself. Okay, as you can see, I left this hole a little bit bigger. So I'm going to look through my embellishments and find something that would look pretty in the center. You can just kind of hold it up and see. I don't like that. That is much too big. Like this one. It's much too big. Aside and maybe look at one or two more. Okay, so I decided on just this little kind of one with the glossy kind of pearl effect to it. And I'm going to put my glue deep down in the center of my rose. I'm going to drop it down in there, and then taking something small, like the end of my pen, I'm going to push it down in that hole. And as you can see, these are two different flowers. Just kind of have their own character, their own personalities. You can imagine a large bowl full of different styles and colors and how beautiful it is. So this is how you make the paper rose flowers, and I really love them, and I hope you do too. So this was my first actual tutorial. I hope you guys liked it. Thank you so much for watching, and come back and see me soon. Thank you. Bye.